countdown to terror has begun. Billionaire astronaut Eli Cologne became the first man on Mars, but something went horribly wrong. Infected by an alien organism on the Red Planet, he returned to Earth a crazed, savage monster with an unquenchable thirst for human flesh. This very special signed and numbered First Man on Mars Blu-ray is limited to 300 copies and includes a fantastic mini poster insert which is signed and numbered along with the Blu-ray disc. Plus, for a limited time, get a free Haunted Thrills playing card with your purchase. Haunted Thrills is my latest film, a documentary about pre-code horror comic books. And these playing cards were made for promotion of the film. Offer good while supplies last. And that's not all. First Man on Mars movie props giveaway. You can win one of 2 great props from the film. The customized screen-worn space helmet or the custom astronaut Snoopy cap, both worn by astronaut-turned-monster Eli Cologne in the film First Man on Mars. Both items come with a certificate of authenticity signed by me, the producer and director, Mike Lydon. For further details, visit HorrorAnthologyMovies.com. First Man on Mars 2023 Limited Edition Blu-ray. Get yours now.
After decades of wandering the Earth, Wulf and Batsy have finally settled into a place they can call home. But they will soon realize this only makes it easy for their pursuers to track them down. And old enemies know exactly where to find them. The Fall of the House of Zagzog. Kevin Wolf Orlock. Batsy the Vampiress. Detective Lawrence Mondello Sr. Lisette. Snyder Zamala. Pamela Zamala. Stu Cupid. The Fall of the House of Zagzog. A new, never previously released 4-part story arc in Wulf and Batsy issues 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Order at alternacomics.com.
All right. Excellent new trailer for Wulf and Batsy from BRYAN BAUGH. And these are the brand new comic books, which are going to come out, I believe, 8, 9, 10, and 11, right?
Yes.
These are going to be on Alterna Comics. They're forthcoming. The 2 issues, 8 and 9, are
8 and 9.
Yeah, they are in the new Indiegogo campaign.
Yes. 8 and 9, the first 2 chapters of the new story are up for pre-order now, and they'll be coming out simultaneously. And then 10 and 11 will be coming out at the end, late on the next campaign.
Oh, cool. Very cool, man. Excellent. Folks, good evening. Welcome to the Horror Mike Show. And as you see, I am with my special guest, BRYAN BAUGH. And I know him personally from the Wulf and Batsy comic book series, and they're fantastic. And we're going to be taking a look at those. We're also going to take a look at a few other things that he's done as well. And first, though, let's get to the chat real quick and see who we have, living or dead, in the chat. Let's take a look here. We got Yeah, we got Werewolf by Lunchtime, which yes, Brian, it's Werewolf by Lunchtime. And
Awesome.
he is an Aussie chap. Well, he lives in Australia. He's from Britain, so this is his breakfast show. There you go.
Yes.
Hello, Werewolf,
Hello.
and Eric Boyd on the scene. Hello, Eric. How are you doing? Good.
Hello.
God. Eric also says, I'm sharing this out. Hey, great. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. That's fantastic. Eric says, I still need to get some Wulf and Batsy comics. What? Yes, you do. What the heck have you been doing with your life, man? We got just go to Alterna Comics. We're gonna go over all of that. You can get, I believe, all of the back issues from Alterna. You know, and that's one thing. I mean, obviously, I discovered this quickly when I, you know, of course, I buy stuff from Alterna occasionally. And the first time I went to their site and saw an issue of Wulf and Batsy, I was like, whoa, what is this? Now, this looks really cool. And then, of course, I read into it and everything. And so the first 7 issues, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, these are all from the early 2000s, the actual comic book stories, right?
Issues 1 through 6 are from the early 2000s.
Okay, issues 1 through 6. Then 7 is pretty much new, right? And so now you're just going forward with all new stories.
I'm sort of going back and forth. To explain a little bit, I created the characters back in 1999, 2000, and started drawing the comics on the side of my day job and family life, just slowly making them as I went along. And there came a point, I mean, I was self-publishing them myself just through a print-on-demand place and had a small, loyal following, which was nice for quite a few years. And then in 2021, January, I believe it was 21, Pete Samedi reached out to me and said, would you like to have those over here? And he decided to pick up the book, and he's been doing it ever since. And what we decided to do was, because we wanted to do the entire series through Alterna, he's taking all of my old stories and starting at the beginning and publishing them as single issue comics as an ongoing series. But he asked me, he said, in between your old story arcs, can you make some new stories to go in between as single issue stories, that sort of thing. And so that's why issues 1 through 6 is the first batch of the old stuff. Issue 7 is a brand new story. Issues 8, 9, 10, and 11 is a new story arc, but it's one that I started back then and I never finished it. And I thought this is a good opportunity to go back and finish it because in the timeline of the ongoing series, it fits right there. So I'm doing this one. And then after issue 11, we're going to go on back to the older material and publish the next story arc.
Oh, cool.
So we're sort of bouncing back and forth between the old material and the new material, but the new stories are being placed with care. They fit into the timeline.
Right.
It's like untold stories that go in between the larger story arcs that I did back between 2000 to 2017 or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah, I gotcha. So now how about the covers for Alterna?
The covers are brand new.
All the covers are brand new.
Brand new, yes. That was part of the idea too, was to have the Alterna series be its own edition with brand new cover illustrations.
Yeah, good idea too, because they're spectacular.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate it.
That is one thing that it's just eye catching. You know, when you go like to the Alterna site and look, Alterna's they've got some really good stuff, even, you know, like recent stuff. I mean, obviously, you know, it's for me, it's like Wulf and Batsy. It came out on a Wednesday, and what's that? There's a relatively new one, which is so bizarre.
Horace Hoover.
Yeah, Horace Hoover. Yeah, I love it.
That's a good one.
Those are my real kind of my current favorites. But the covers, you know, it's like the way that you draw the two main characters, Wulf and Batsy. I mean, in particular for the covers. Now, it works beautifully as far as I'm concerned, black and white on the interior. Mm-hmm. It's when you're reading it, it's like it seems like a natural. that, yeah, this is, because you know how whatever. I'm not one of those people that's stickler for color on the
Yeah.
interior, and I think
Right.
a lot of people are, they're just like, look, if it works, it works. And
Yeah.
it totally works, with
Honestly, I never thought about it, because to me, there's always been a rich history of black and white horror comics
yes.
in the horror
Yeah.
genre, whether you're talking Creepy Magazine, Eerie Magazine, or even in the 80s
Or
when I was a
even
teenager.
weird.
Or weird. Yes. I love the PS Publishing books.
Right.
Oh, believe me, I love them. But also, when I was a teenager in the 80s, I loved Caliber Press when they were doing Dead World and The Crow
Oh,
and Baker
yeah.
Street. Those were, basically the exact same format that Wulf and Batsy is now.
That is absolutely correct. And
Yeah.
so many great undergrounds.
Oh, Gore Shriek.
Yeah, Gore Shriek. And from the 70s and 80s, the Richard Corbin black and white and the undergrounds. Geez, man. That stuff, because one of the things, and obviously people, they get into it like I do personally. When it's black and white, people use certain techniques. They do things, and I notice you do this in your comics, obviously, with Wulf and Batsy. You can do artistic things that are different, that wouldn't necessarily come across very well in color, or just would be less dramatic, I guess.
Yeah.
True. It's that contrast. It's that it kind of sets a certain kind of 30s, 40s Universal Studios kind of tone,
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
noirish,
Yeah. And my goal is to make Wulf and Batsy feel like an old comic book that you somehow never knew existed, but you just found it.
Yes.
And you're going, what era is this from?
Right, exactly.
If I make it feel like that, I feel like I've done my job.
Oh, you have. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's they're just fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's see here. We're going to go to your main page. I think this is it.
On my website?
Yeah. That's it, right? There we go.
There's a Wulf and Batsy page also. Yeah, if you click the.
Yeah, this is BRYANBAUGH.net.
Yeah.
There we go. That is just beauteous right there.
Oh, thank you. There's Batsy over on the top left there with the blood.
Yeah, right. Okay, top.
Oh, I'm sorry. Top
right. Right.
Top right.
I was like going, okay, I'm in the opposite land here, and of course there's Wulf right next to her.
Yeah.
Not quite sure who this is.
Neither am I.
Oh, okay. All right. These are
that was it. That was just a random illustration I did several years ago, but people really liked it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
man, there's some stuff in that. The issue, the last, it could have been issue 6.
Yes.
With Zagzog.
Yeah.
And I think it's Bill Bucklebones.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Man, there are just some scenes in there that are so damn good.
Oh, thank you.
It's kind of like, there's a lot of fun that you have with the guy. You're reading it, and it's just a fun read. But then you're like, you do something like stylistically different. And I hold on one second. I just want to show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, it could be here. I believe I have it here. Let me just make sure it's issue number 6, but it's quite spectacular because it's so different. I mean, I catch this stuff. I don't know. Maybe other people don't. But there is a certain kind of here we go. This is perfect. All right, I'm going to take this off. Okay. So it's kind of like, you've got this in issue 6. You recognize that very well. And that's pretty much the classic look of the comic book, of the art. But then, like, you get this kind of thing, which is just suddenly, like, to me, much different. It's got a very EC kind of classic horror comic look to it. And it just does not, I'm not saying it doesn't go with the other stuff, but it's just different. There's a different thing that the ghouls, the way that they're, I don't know, it's just got a really cool look to it. So, and
I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment. That's high praise. I love the EC comics so much. So
yeah, and this type of thing with the house,
yeah,
this the way it works is just so beautiful. It's great. It's different too.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Another thing, folks, that you may or may not be aware of, this is the funniest stuff. This is so good. Bryan does these things in the back. They're like classified ads. And this is something you were just talking about, like what era is this comic book from? And
if you're an old comic book fan, you remember all the weird ads in the back. I think it was called in Famous Monsters magazine. It was called Captain Company.
Company. Yep.
So in mine, it's called Captain Blood Clot.
Captain Blood Clot. Exactly.
Famous novelties.
Exactly. You just got all these hilarious freaking, ads. They're great.
And it starts out with simple things like, X-ray glasses, and then gradually it gets more and more bizarre.
Exactly. Celebrity barf bags. Oh, man. This is just too good.
I was going to say also, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just going to ask. So I noticed on issue 6, there was a little thing where Batsy's there and it's corpse despondence.
Yes.
So how's the corpse despondence been? Have you got
it started slow, but I have gotten a few emails and on that little address there.
Cool.
And so issues, I think 8 and 9 will start having some letters pages in there.
Oh, that's it. That's a key. I was going to ask if you were actually going to end up putting a page of corpse despondence, like letters to the editor or whatever,
I've gotten a few letters that are going to be in there.
Good.
It's hard to find room for them because I'm still trying to do the ads, and Alterna has their page count limits. I have to play within the boundaries, but
exactly. These are the types of things, it's so funny when I do my, I do a lot. You've seen some of the reviews I've done, an upcoming one I'm doing for Chilling Tales number 15, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
The Matt Fox cover. I just love Matt Fox, man.
Yeah.
So what I look for, and I love it because PS Art Books does that. When they reprint everything. All the letters to the editor, all of the weird freaking ads that are so amusing. So when I do my videos, a lot of it is kind of focused on that stuff. The whatever you want to call it. It's
the stuff that makes you feel like you're really reading it in the era it's from. It really sets the time period.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah,
you're just like going, okay, look. I mean, it's, I guess, funny and tragic because it's kind of like you're reading, like, yes, get your squirrel monkey for $5.
Right.
We send it to you in a box. I'm oh God. And I've heard horror stories.
Well, also, that. I mean, I love those PS Publishing books, and I got all the Harvey Horror ones. They're so great. But one thing that's so funny about them, sometimes they've got ads in there for like ladies' underwear and stuff, where you're just like, in a kid's monster comic, like, what is that really in there for?
Right, exactly. I'm not, I'm really not quite sure. Like some of the ads come across that way, right? Like
Yeah.
where they're just totally adult oriented
Yeah.
things, but
Right.
they knew this. They absolutely knew this, and you know it. Adult males
Yeah.
were reading those things like they were going out of style. It was,
Yeah.
I think, a very small female percentage,
Right.
but I think
Right.
what they were doing with those female ads was getting the men like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
look at
When
this.
when you're flipping through it at the newsstand, that's the sale.
Look at this bullet brassiere. Oh my God. I'm taking this one home. You know, I mean, that's basically it. That's
Right.
I think, you
Yeah.
know, I would hope that some women found it really quite entertaining as well. I'm sure they did. There were a handful of women that worked in the pre-code era.
Sure.
Not many, like Ruth
Right.
Roach, Mary Severn.
Yeah.
There were several, you know, but not many.
Right.
And but that goes to prove that women were in the industry, even
It
in
is
the
true.
pre-code horror industry, you know. And
Mhm.
just getting back to your comic books, it does have that feel. It really, really, what it is that Wulf and Batsy, for me, this is just a personal opinion, is it's got this like there's definitely a 1950s pre-code vibe to a lot of it. Also, it goes into easily into the 70s with some underground horror comics.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
absolutely, it's, you know, and I love those. I have like a fair collection of underground horror oriented stuff, you know, like
Me
the
too.
Skull comics were just insane. I mean, you know, this is the type of stuff, but some of the artists were just fantastic. You're just
Right.
looking at going, what the, you know,
Well,
that
there's also a heavy 1960s and 70s era lurid exploitation horror movie influence
yes,
going on there too. That's a big part. I love whenever I see like a real weird underground exploitation horror movie or read one of those underground comics, and I feel like I'm seeing the work of a mad genius. Like what was wrong with the person who made this that they think
yeah,
this story logic makes sense. But I love feeling like I'm in that kind of demented space. So
it is.
try to emulate that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And it's just the more personable experience.
Yeah.
When you're reading Wulf and Batsy in particular, like if you look at the Alterna lineup, and once again, I like other titles there, but there is a personal connection to those eras. Of course, as we were just talking about with the fake ads, the classifieds, and so forth, that nobody else really does. I mean, you just don't see it,
Right.
you know, because people are, well, one of two things. They're just not interested in doing something like that, or they just never saw that stuff. I mean, that's hard to believe. Even in the 80s, that was huge. The classifieds, all the funk. It didn't really start petering out until
The
I would
90s,
say
I
like
think.
the mid and the late 90s. It started going away. So
Yeah.
you know, you figure that most people are familiar with it. I mean, maybe some people just don't find it interesting, but it's fascinating. You
Right.
know, it's like history. You're looking, it's not just the comic book itself and the story, and maybe this story has something to do with a historical point in time, which often happens, you know, even across the board with Marvel and DC and a lot of independent comics with you know, Pacific Comics and all that stuff. Eclipse was really quite on the ball with that.
Did they do Twisted Tales?
Yes, they did.
That was a great one.
God, yeah. Twisted Tales, man. Of course, all those guys, Jeff Jones, Richard Corbin, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they just had a ton of people. It was absolutely amazing. That was an amazing span of issues.
They had Wrightson and John Bolton doing
Bernie
covers.
Wrightson, yeah, and they also did those fantastic 6-issue series of Seduction of the Innocent.
Yes,
yeah, with the one Dave Stevens cover, the Pumpkin Patch Girl, which is just totally awesome, and of course the Bernie Wrightson. There's a Bernie Wrightson cover, and those were the two that were these 3D issues. That was another thing. You might want to consider a little, maybe doing a 3D issue in the future, Brian. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, the stuff, that's another fascinating thing unto itself, because for a while 3D was hot in comic books. That guy, there's a guy, Ray Zone. This guy, you've seen the comics. I know you've seen him, and he did a ton. There were some Dave Stevens comics that were produced by Ray Zone, doing, using his 3D effect and everything.
You're going to want to talk to my publisher about that.
He could do it. I bet you he could do it. It's a relatively, especially, with that 2-color 3D process. Relatively, I don't want to say relatively easy. It is more, obviously it's a little trickier, but I bet you would get a lot of interest, because that's one thing with Wulf and Batsy is that you have these, some of the covers and the interior pages really come into a 3D kind of, like they're jumping out at you. That's what you want. That is what you want. But if you could imagine a cover in 3D like this, holy Toledo, man.
Well, on the website that you had pulled up, if you go to the Wulf and Batsy page on there, if you want to go to the Wulf and Batsy page on there, the covers are all on there like a gallery where you can just click through.
Cool. Let's check it out. Okay. Let's check this out, guys. Let's see.
At the top. At the top.
Wulf and Batsy.
There you go. So
and these are all the covers.
Yeah, hit it again. Maybe it did open. There it goes. Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. So these are the covers, also without the type and everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Here, let's take a look. I'm gonna see if I can. Ain't letting me do that. Oh, this is better. Yeah. This one is one of my favorite. Issue number 2 cover, where she's got her eye. She's yanked her eye out. And it's such a weird and just a bizarre and, I don't know.
Based on folklore.
Intriguing story. Yeah. I mean, it's just really freaking cool. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, the eyeball gag is based on a folkloric belief. Yeah, you should be able to click on those, and they should expand. They should get bigger.
Well, you see, here's what. Yeah, it doesn't because what I've done is I've increased the page size. You see now it's better to at least look at them like this.
Yeah, okay.
That's as good as it's gonna get.
Right.
But that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, let's get to that. So what was the folklore? What do you know what the country of origin?
I don't remember the country of origin, but I'm a big collector. I don't know, but I'm a big, possibly. I'm a big collector of books of folklore and supposedly true superstitious stories about vampires and werewolves, and there was one book I had that had an entry that said there was a species of vampire called the Lamia, which are these female vampires, and they had the ability to remove their own eyeballs and send them out to spy
surveillance eyeballs,
like a drone. And I read that years and years ago, and I just thought, wow, I've never seen that in a comic book before. I'm going to do that.
I never seen that. I never seen that at all. Yeah, that definitely is I love that too. I love the idea that you're combining, you're taking old folklore and bringing it into comics. A lot of people just don't do that. It just doesn't
Well,
happen.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great inspiration in movies and stuff, but I mean, I like to dig a little deeper and try to find those ideas that people haven't thought of before or haven't found before.
Yeah,
I can.
Brian. Just a quick aside. I want to keep on the page here and show people the art. But if you get a chance, do you ever watch stuff on Tubi?
No, but what are you referring to?
Oh, there's a series called Gogol. You ever heard of it? Gogol.
No, I have not seen
Gogol. It is
not seen that.
It is based on ancient Russian mythology. I mean, when I say ancient, I'm talking about, going back several hundred years.
Right.
That type of thing. But man, they get into the folklore. I mean, like out in the sticks, Russian folklore type shit. And it's supernatural. It's
Did you ever see the movie? Did you ever see the movie VIY?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it is now. Well, I don't know if it's still on Tubi, but it was on Tubi.
It was on Tubi
for a while. Yeah,
it's a Russian horror film based on those beliefs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And of course, then there's stuff like Black Sabbath with the Vertilac.
Yes, the Vertilac. I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a huge Mario Bava fan.
Oh, Bava is just
I'm a huge European horror movie fan in general. I mean,
yes,
I have to say Paul Naschy's probably my favorite.
Paul Naschy's great
because I just love him to death. I mean, his sort of like big kid nature of just like, let's make a monster movie, he just dresses up as all the monsters and has monster fights and everything. So there's a big Paul Naschy influence on my comics, especially.
Certainly.
But I love.
I could see that. Yeah.
But I love Mario Bava, and I love I even love I always say his name wrong, but Jean Roland, as artsy as he can be.
Oh yeah.
I like his movies too.
Sure.
I just love all those, but I mean, anything with Barbara Steele in it, any of those old black and white movies, yeah.
God, that was what was the one where she's encased? Is that Black Sunday?
Black Sunday is the one where they nail the mask to her face.
Yeah, God. Yeah, that one is just, it's so good.
The other one I love is, my other favorite one with her is The Long Hair of Death. You ever seen that one?
I don't know. Unless it was released under another title.
No, it's called The Long Hair of Death, but it did come out on a Blu-ray recently, and it's beautiful. I love that movie. Yeah,
very cool. A
lot of similar ideas to Black Sunday, but it's a totally different movie.
Oh, okay.
But it's great. Yeah, wow. And she's great in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a huge fan. Well, it kind of depends on the films, with a lot of directors, it's kind of like it can be kind of a hit and miss kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But Argento in Italy, Fulci, Lucio Fulci.
Oh yeah, of course.
Man, when they hit, they were just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
When they missed,
yeah.
It's just God, I just watched. Oh, it almost drove me insane. It was like Dario Argento. It was just, in the first place, he really pretty much invented the Luma crane. The Luma crane is a type of crane, camera crane device that's more flexible than the typical crane. It allows, like an opera or many of his films post Suspiria.
Right.
He was really getting into the use of the Luma crane. Tenebrae is another one. Inferno. God, yeah. Jeez. And it was just it became like this, cinematic marvel, just watching his films, even if you didn't like the content, just the visual stuff alone, it's just absolutely fantastic. Then I saw this film that he did not too long ago. I forget the actor, it's an American actor. And
a recent one?
Yes. Yeah, and I want to say like 2010. Something like that.
Jogging my
Very,
memory.
very recent. Very recent. That guy, he's a thin. He played Houdini in a TV series. He's that kind of thin kind of guy and very pop. Adrian Brody.
Oh,
Adrian
right.
Brody
Yeah.
is in this film, this
Okay.
Argento film. I'm like, wow, I've never seen this Argento film, and it's on Tubi. I'll watch it. I couldn't even watch it. Yeah, I couldn't even watch the film. It was just such a boring piece of crap. I was just like, okay, now this is where Argento's phoning it in.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it. There's no way that he would have, been there in full force and made this film. You just got to see it yourself to see what I'm saying. But it's just it's almost like a movie of the week, kind of. It has that weird feel to it.
I tend to be a little bit cynical about Argento just because I feel like when he's good, he's so good. And when he's bad, he's so bad. And I feel like even when he's great, I feel like he stole a lot of his best ideas from Bava. I mean, the bright color schemes and everything.
Sure.
I mean, that's Mario Bava's innovation,
Sure.
But I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Suspiria is one of my all-time favorites. That movie is
Suspiria is
amazing.
Fantastic. And of course the soundtrack, Goblin. I got that soundtrack immediately.
Me too.
I saw that
Me
film.
too.
I was just and of course they also did the amazing soundtrack for Deep Red, Profondo Rosso, and a ton. I had like probably a dozen Goblin records. Like when I was growing up, they did not. They did stuff that was not the soundtrack oriented. It was just like albums.
Claudio Simonetti,
Massimo Morante, oh my God, Fabio Pignatelli. Holy crap, these dudes were so good. It was just absolutely insane. And of course, that lent a lot to Argento and his first films.
I think Suspiria would lose a lot of its power without that music.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've read tales that it drove people out of theaters.
Yeah.
I believe that insane cacophony of, I mean, it is totally insane.
Yeah. It's great.
Which is fantastic. And of course they did the soundtrack for Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
Which is landmark. That was really probably what got me into it.
And Demons.
And Demons. Oh,
that's a good one.
Bava.
The music on
Lamberto Bava.
Lamberto Bava, Mario Bava's son. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Euro stuff that definitely for America. And I don't know if I guess they realized the popularity because I know for a fact that, for instance, who was the guy you just mentioned in Goblin?
Claudio Simonetti.
Yeah, Claudio Simonetti was over here. He was doing tours and stuff. Right. So there's a love for, at least in the very least, Italian horror and Italian horror soundtrack groups.
I got piles of them.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It's so different.
Fun to draw to.
Yeah. And that's something that it's like when you listen to this stuff, they really ignored a lot of just classic musical tropes that people in the United States, like composers, would just fall back onto over and over again, where you're just like, okay, here comes the rising suspense note. All right, and here and the crash.
Right.
Whatever the hell, just God, so much of that garbage. And they were just different. They just had a different thing,
There's another guy. I'm blanking on his name now. I'm gonna pull it up. Give me one second here. But it fits right into this conversation.
Pino Donaggio.
Oh, I love Pino Donaggio because he did the soundtrack for The Howling.
He did the Howling. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, who am I thinking of here? Where is he? I got it. I'm got him right here. Come on, Brian. Okay, have you ever heard of Riz Ortolani?
No.
Okay, this guy's great. He's another one of those Italian horror film musical composers. He did the soundtrack for Castle of Blood, and The Seven Deaths in the Cat's Eye, and a lot of those movies. But
Oh man,
he's one of those names that'll pop up on a lot of those weird, obscure Italian horror films, and they're just starting to have. There's a couple of really weird, obscure CD companies that are just starting to put out some of these soundtracks for some of these really weird movies. Yeah, but I got hooked on his stuff, and he's great.
So
Carlo Rusticelli. Carlo
R-I-Z?
Rusticelli is another one.
Riz?
Yeah, Riz, R-I-Z is his first name. Ortolani.
Ortolani. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a list of credits as long as your arm.
Wow, God, I've never heard of him. Or
Yeah, well,
at least I never put the music to the name. You know?
Yeah, I mean but you've heard it. I mean, if you've seen a lot of these movies, you've heard it, because he's one of those guys that he's just done a million soundtracks for westerns, also spaghetti westerns. He's done soundtracks for.
Yeah.
He's like all over the place, but he's done, but his horror stuff is great. The soundtrack, I just got the soundtrack for Castle of Blood last fall, and it's just superb atmospheric stuff.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna check them out.
The other one is Carlo Rusticelli. He did the soundtrack for Long Hair of Death. I could go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll
stop. Yeah, you're going forever with this stuff.
It's just absolutely incredible.
But I always love finding. It's funny. I love finding new things like that, but the new things I'm finding are old things I just didn't have yet.
You're right. Yeah, and you just don't get the soundtracking like that anymore. That's the thing. Yeah. Like they've stopped with, like, imagine, if you will, you got a horror film, and it's $5 million budget, relatively small budget, but decent enough to get full soundtracking. They just get a dude with a synthesizer.
Yeah,
that's basically what they're doing. They're not going to go like, we need this group. These guys are incredible. Right. Let's get the goblins.
Right.
As they used to refer to them. I don't know if I had the biggest laugh, like when that Dawn of the Dead soundtrack came out. Music by the Goblins.
Yeah.
Look, it's just goblin. What the fuck are you talking about? The Goblins. Oh my God.
That's a great score.
It's fantastic. And that was at a time where they would get actual music groups to sit down and compose soundtracks. Now with Profondo Rosso, it was Goblin and it was a composer, a proper composer, working with Goblin.
I probably have it here someplace.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of like, acoustic piano stuff, very haunting and just weird and wonderful.
I'm pulling up my iTunes playlist. I've got all this stuff saved.
Yeah, it's something like, God, who the hell was it? Like Elmer Bernstein or something. It was one of those big names.
Then you got Fabio Frizzi, who did the music for Fulci's movies, Zombie and City of the Living Dead.
Right,
his stuff's great. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could do this all day.
Especially, and that's what I'm saying. Is that, look, the music now, and I'm not even, so much like, for instance, you look at 21st century horror films.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there aren't many great ones. There really just aren't, because a lot of them, like, for instance, I just got to vent because I always love venting on James Wan. The dude that did, James Wan. This dude is incredible.
Wait, hold on. Are you a fan or not a fan?
I'm not a fan. And the reason why I'm not a fan is that he rips off himself in every movie he makes. Like, for instance, there goes the person being dragged across the floor by unseen forces. In every freaking movie, there's some person going, whoa, like this in the trailer. Watch every trailer. You'll see it. I'm just like, what is this, like a Pavlovian experience? Like where he's training people to react to certain, tropes. in his film, like, or oh, here's the antique. I thought I'd thrown this away, but no, it's back on the table. Wow. And shit like that. I'm just like, oh, come on, man. Come on.
Well,
man.
I love the first two Conjuring movies. I think those two are great.
Yeah, I just freaking hated them.
But I oh really? Oh, man.
The thing is that who's the girl? Who's the woman, that the actress in there? Liz. Black hair, and she's God, she's really good
right.
too.
The girl who plays the one who plays the Warren.
Yes. Not
Warren.
Not Mrs. Warren.
No,
it's her friend or whatever. She's the little. She played in I Killed Andy Warhol. I Shot Andy Warhol film. What the hell? In any case, that girl, the girl that she's like a supporting actress. Remember the scene where they find her covered in a shroud?
Oh, right. Yes.
I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Okay.
I was laughing personally. I thought it was hysterical looking. But I'll tell you, Brian, there is one thing. It's not directed by James Wan, but it is Blumhouse.
Okay.
Blumhouse, you know how Blumhouse is. I'm sure. But if you ever get a chance, watch The Hunt.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right.
Man,
I've not seen that one.
Best Blumhouse film I have ever seen.
Okay, have to check
because they suddenly grew a pair of balls, and they actually made this unflinching kind of like horror thriller thing. Just absolutely. It was, matter of fact, it was yanked. It was yanked by whoever. I think it was Universal that was supposed to distribute the film. They yanked it. It's politically charged. It is so damn good. I was just absolutely amazed when I watched this film, because I really don't think I'm gonna. If I watch a Blumhouse film, I'm not really thinking I'm gonna get much out of it. Let me put it that way.
Well, I think if for those of us who have an appreciation for the old stuff, I think we live in a real golden age as far as the comic book reprints of the old stuff that was so rare and weird, but also the movies too. It's like there's so many great, like, little obscure Blu-ray companies that are putting out so many of these really weird, obscure movies that were so hard to find, and you'd read about them in books, but you'd never find them even in the weird section at the video store.
Yeah.
But now they're all starting to come out.
And they're mastering them, and usually very well. They do a good job, and
they'll have a great commentary track with, Tim Lucas or Troy Howarth, these great film historians who specialize in these kind of old weird movies, and they know everything about it. And you can watch the movie once and then watch the commentary and get an education. It's like, I feel very blessed that we live in this time where all this great stuff is accessible.
Yeah.
So I'm just having fun dipping into the old stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah,
there's so much
even
to find.
Criterion.
Yeah.
Criterion does some, man. I've got the Criterion release of Island of the Lost Souls.
Nice,
which is a must. That black and white, that the way that it's shot is so intense and haunting. That's the type of thing. Island of the Lost Souls. They also have one. They did a Criterion release of, believe it or not, of oh God, no, I just drew. I can't believe it. It's one of, and this is the classic Dennis Muren film, Equinox.
Yes,
Equinox, man. The 19. They've got the Criterion release where they have the both versions. Absolutely fantastic.
I have that,
and it comes with a little book and everything. And I mean, it goes into some depth, you know, of Equinox, which was in many ways. I try to tell people this, they don't believe it, because in the first place, they don't like the movie. And I'm like, look, this film was more groundbreaking in many ways than you could possibly imagine. This is where Dennis Muren didn't do that film. He may not have done Star Wars. He may not have been involved.
It was a career-making movie for a lot of
people. It
people.
was for a lot of
I mean,
people. So
I
many
think
people.
Jim Danforth was on that
Woo!
too, I believe.
Yeah, with the animation. You know, even Fritz Leiber is in the freaking movie. Great
That's right.
writer.
Yeah, that's
one
true.
of my favorite writers from back in the like 60s, 70s period. It's Fritz Leiber on the scene as Dr. Waterhouse.
Yeah,
I can't believe I remember that shit. But in any case, yeah, that the Criterion films are fantastic. One thing I wanted to get back as we were looking at these on your page, is the one thing. Okay, when you look at the coloring, right?
Yes.
Okay, on the covers, and this also applies to some other Alterna comics as well. It's not computerized looking.
Well,
that's all I gotta say. That's all I got. It's not computery looking.
Well, I draw everything traditionally with pen and ink or ink brush on paper, but I do color the covers on Photoshop.
Right, and it's amazing. I thought I was thinking to myself, well, it's probably done on whatever Photoshop or another program as far as the colors.
Yeah,
but you have this way of making it look not computery. I mean, look, I'll tell you, I've got some comic books. I know you know what I'm talking about. You look at them, you're like, oh my god, they just went full,
the garish,
like
great gradient, color gradients and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
like the early Image Comics coloring. I'm not a fan of that. I like old comics. And that's what that's what I look at for my inspiration. I mean, I'm more a fan of old, like we were talking about, 50s through 80s.
Exactly.
And this is my favorite stuff.
This has that look. It has the and it's fantastic. And it also, Horace Hoover, I think he does a good job with the color.
Yeah, he does a similar thing. Yeah,
a similar thing, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
it's just, it doesn't strike me as whatever you're doing with the Photoshop, with the coloring, you're doing it right. I wish some people would follow this kind of thing. I mean, Jesus, they all go with that. I mean, just look at some of the new stuff. I'm sure you agree. Like,
I mean, to me, I just feel like keep it simple. I'm not trying to do any fancy tricks in there. I'm just placing the colors. And I mean, I did go to art school, so I learned a thing or two about color theory. I know what colors work together and that kind of thing. But
you do, you absolutely do. These covers just jump out.
But I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything fancy. I mean, that's pretty much it.
I think but isn't that the trick of it?
Yeah.
Why go the fancier you try to get?
Like, don't overdo
it. The worse it looks. And people are like, they just go nuts with the computer stuff. Where to the point where it's just like, man, come on. I mean, this was fantastic too.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that is great. And as you say, it is. Once again, there is a, I don't know if you want to call it simplicity to it. You've got, it's color separations, which really make it, like, you've got, of course, the green, the water, the sewer water. You've got Wulf, who's like a bluish tint, Zagzog here with that kind of reddish brown kind of look, and they're all separated.
Well, the thing is, for something like that cover, for example, figuring out how to color that one, I just started out by looking at the other ones and saying, what have I not done? And I thought, well, I haven't done a purple and green cover. Let's see if I can do a purple and green color scheme. And then you just make everything else work with it.
Right.
That's usually how I would approach it.
It's beautiful because it's the separations are simplistic, but that's what you want. You don't want to get all complicated.
And you don't want I feel like with a lot of modern comic covers, they go so crazy with the colors. The colors are all fighting each other. You don't know what to look at. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Oops. What the hell
Oh,
just happened?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you clicked there.
Oh, there we go. I just went. I clicked
went all the way to the
down
bottom.
a notch.
Yeah.
Right. So there we got. Yeah. Here's of course cover number 6. Once again, it just works just beautifully. The eye creature is just
Yes.
absolutely fantastic. That is just one. And of course, Wulf battling the eye creature.
Yeah, right. You have your big monster battles.
So great.
These are some of the early ones when it first started. Yeah. So it looks a little more primitive there, but those were the first few things I did with the characters.
Yeah, and yeah, because I noticed, for instance, there was also like this is going back. It must be, I don't know, 2010.
I can tell you,
2011. It's a collection. It's a volume of Wulf and Batsy.
Yeah, that first black and white one there is 1999, December.
That is the first, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the first time I had done drawings of them individually, just trying to find their look. But that was the first drawing I ever did with them together, and that was the first one that made me go, "Oh, I love these guys. I can think of 1,000 stories about them." And then when I started doing the next story arc about with the zombies, I did that green one there, and then that the one over there, the reddish one on the right. That one was the original cover idea for what is now Wulf and Batsy issue 6 from Alterna. I mean, you can see the eyeball monster. Down there
there's the bottom, eyeball monster.
Right. So that was okay. So like the first black and white one was 1999, tail end of 1999, early 2000, something like that. The green one in the middle was probably 2003, and that red one was probably 2004 or 2005.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there's a volume. I mean, this is extremely rare. I've only seen one in my life, but there was somebody put out it's a volume of Wulf and Batsy. It's like 150 pages or something.
Well, the thing is, Wulf and Batsy did play musical publishers for the first couple of years. There was a company called Chanting Monks that did put out the first story arc in one book. And it we got Joe Chiodo to do a guest cover, and it was kind of orange. And you see that one floating around. You see that one floating around sometimes. Right. Then Viper Press picked it up and did the first 3 issues, and then right when they did the first 3 issues, the 2008 financial crash happened, and they kind of decided to take a break. And then I self-published from 2008 all the way to 2017, and I did these trade paperbacks that were put out through Indie Planet, and that was the original first self-published version. And you can still get those for a reasonable price. They're on Indie Planet. If you just go on Google and put in Wulf and Batsy Indie Planet, you'll find them. It's not like they're super rare or super hard to get.
Right.
But they're print on demand, so you can order 1 or 2, and they whip them up for you and send them right directly to you.
Oh, cool!
Yeah.
Very cool.
So a lot of people have thought. So that first one from Chanting Monks might be a rare one that's hard to get, but those trade paperbacks is the same material. It was just self-published through me, through Indie Planet, and you can order those print on demand right off their website.
Oh, very cool. Hey, look,
so you can still get the old ones.
I'm dropping in this link right now to the chat. This is BRYAN BAUGH's website, and it goes to the Wulf and Batsy page. Of course, you can go to many other pages on the site there, but now I want to go to Indiegogo because this is where it's all happening, folks. This is a new campaign.
Yeah.
And this is where we must go to. All right, let's see here. Where are we? There we go. All right, now I'm going to drop this in the chat too. Hopefully we got this right. Yep, there we go. Okay, guys, and here is the link. I'm dropping this Indiegogo link for Wulf and Batsy into the chat. And so here we go. This is the
current campaign.
August 2023 pre-orders. And of course, you see here there's Blood Realm. I've got a couple of issues of that. Red Koi, Unit 44, I do not have any issues of.
Can you scroll up on this a little? Scroll to the top.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
seeing
it.
this.
Oh, what
I'm
do
not
you?
seeing. I'm not seeing it on the
Oops.
StreamYard screen.
Sorry about that. How about that?
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why.
Just cleared that flexible goal there.
Yeah, that's quite good. Didn't take very
yeah.
long.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the current Alterna Comics titles for the August pre-orders, and we got Wulf and Batsy 8 and 9 both coming out simultaneously.
Yeah, that's quite good, right there. That is fantastic. But it doesn't stop there. That's the thing right there. There's the issues, the new issues that are coming out for the August campaign. Okay, and then they talk about the real goal, the 10K goal, and stuff like that. But here we go. Let's get a little specific. There are the 5 issues, and shipping is quite good. I know for some of you guys, even rest of the world, $30. You can I think stack up on some comics and get a pretty good deal, shipping deal for international.
Alterna has very low cover prices, so
that's another thing you guys may notice. I believe all of these are about $2, right?
Yeah, something like that.
$2
each. Yeah,
$2 each. So let's go.
Or it might be $2.25 now. I think they had to bump it up. Yeah,
still cheap as hell.
Yeah. But they're quality books. I mean, they're made really nice.
They are.
They feel just like the old comics. I mean, I don't know where Pete found this printer, but they are making these things look, feel, smell, everything just like classic comic books.
Yeah. Now, as I understand it, people will say this all day long. They don't make newsprint anymore. It is no longer. Yeah, but this is a kind of. It's not exactly newsprint. It's some kind of, as this guy was trying to explain to me, he's a comic book artist. He was like, look, it's not the newsprint that you remember like in the 80s. It's kind of like a facsimile, or how would you say, like, it's a type of paper stock that's treated in a certain way to give it that newsprint feel. That's what his argument was. I don't know. To me, it is. That's all. I'm sticking with that.
It looks the same to me, and it. I have to say, as an artist, the printed page is very faithful to my original art. I mean, even like fine lines and like real subtle brush technique stuff is all coming across. Yeah, I'm very proud of every one of them when I look at them.
Yeah, I think they captured the detail beautifully in these issues, man. And like everything, once again, with Captain Bloodclot's famous novelties, because some of the ads are pretty small and so forth, but it's all clean.
Yeah,
all clean as a whistle, man. You can make out everything really quite good. But so in any case, now you've got alternate series trading cards as well.
Yeah, they have Wulf and Batsy cards also.
Yes.
You have to go to alternacomics.com to get the back issues and old stuff, previously released stuff. But they do have Wulf and Batsy cards on there.
Right. And then here's the whole collector bundle for $200.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
That's the whole enchilada, if you will. And it's a lot, man. But there's another thing that they added here, which is totally freaking great. I'm gonna have to when I do an order, I'm gonna have to get it. Where the hell is it? There it is. The Wulf and Batsy 4x4 sticker, folks. Check it out.
Wulf and Batsy's first sticker ever.
That's it, man. You should eventually, I mean, of course, and people have probably said this anyways, especially with these two characters, Wulf and Batsy and Zagzog, action figures.
Oh, hey, man, that'd be a dream come true.
People would, and they're getting, look, the thing is they're getting more reasonable.
Yeah.
As far as action figures go, like the pricing is, because there's a ton of them. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Did you see that, Brian? Did you see those 1950s, the pre-code things they came out with?
I
They're like
pre-ordered them.
four
I
of them.
pre-ordered them sight unseen. I pre-ordered them and they are on the way.
Okay. Yeah.
If I haven't got them already.
In any case, it just goes to show you that
Yeah.
people are doing these things. They
Yeah.
can't be that expensive
Yeah,
because
that same company did a set of Dungeons and Dragons monsters, but the figures are designed to look like the way the monsters were drawn in the old monster manual from the 70s.
Oh, great.
I pre-ordered those.
That's
Those are on.
nice.
So they are making a lot of different figures of a lot of more obscure, unusual,
Yes.
whatever you call it, properties.
Yeah, because it's just they're getting cheaper and better at it.
Yeah.
As everything else, the action figure craze is huge.
Hey man, I'm a huge
right
toy
now.
collector.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few. I'm not a big action figure collector. I mean, let's put it this way. Yeah, some of the older stuff, I've got some a few cool older figures, but I don't know. There's a lot of Lovecraft stuff I got that aren't exactly. They're not action figures. They're more like how would you say, maquettes?
Mm-hmm.
They're little sculptures,
Mm-hmm.
like Brown Jenkin and
cool.
And Cthulhu, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I love that shit. That's one thing. Yeah, Lovecraft is definitely. I mean, of course, everybody's put them in their comics because they can. It's public domain.
I did a Lovecraft comic in 2011. I did a comic adaptation of The Hound.
Oh, cool.
There was a book that came out called the Lovecraft. What did they call it? Comics Anthology Volume 2. And I did The Hound for that one.
Oh, very cool, man.
The publisher was called Self-Made Hero. That was a mass market book. You can find it pretty much anywhere.
Oh, fantastic. It's strangely enough, I did a short film, which is part of a horror anthology film called Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1, actually. And I shot this film it's called Footage Found Araby. And the Lovecraft angle on it is primarily The Hound.
Wow. Nice.
And
I always love that story.
Oh, it's great. And I shot it on black and white Super 8. I mean, I mean, just because it's supposed to be taking place, a lot of the stuff you see in the episode, in this segment, it's supposed to be Lovecraft. Of course, he's going by the name Randolph Carter. And
right.
So he's a little bit clandestine in the episode, but it's supposed to be like footage from the 1930s. And so, of course, I was like, well, the only way you're going to do that and make it look good is by shooting it on Super 8 and getting some real high-speed black and white stock. Yeah. Because the stuff it'll give you the grain, and all that stuff. And as you say, it's a great story. It's a creepy freaking Lovecraft story. And he didn't do a lot of those. He didn't do a lot of straight supernatural stuff. But when he did, it was quite effective.
I mean, some of my favorite Lovecraft stuff is not the Cthulhu Mythos stories, but some of the weird little ones, the short stories that are like The Hound, that are just like the Reanimator story is so much fun.
Reanimator. Yeah, that's a great one. Of course, I mean, you could even say, for example, Shadow over Innsmouth.
Oh, that's my favorite. You just named my favorite one of all. You're right.
It's one of the greatest. I think that and there's another guy, Stuart Gordon. I think he did a fantastic job with Dagon.
Yeah.
And incorporating Dagon and Shadow over Innsmouth. It's lyrical. That film has just he captures a certain thing. And it's also funny. There are some funny sequences. The lead character, who also ended up playing a similar character, and I guess he was supposed to be, I don't know. I mean, people were saying, he could be the replacement for Jeffrey Combs in future films. That guy, the guy with the black hair and the glasses. He's in Dagon.
Like if Stuart Gordon had made that film in the 80s, that character would have been played by Jeffrey Combs.
Absolutely. Oh, no doubt about it.
Right.
You know? And yeah, it just absolutely beautiful. I loved the reading it. It's just one of those things, you reading that story is creepy as hell. It's just, it still holds up, you know. I mean, that's an amazing thing. With Lovecraft, is that some of his horror stuff, a lot of it, as a matter of fact, what am I talking about? It's like, it's kind of timeless. I mean, he's got his obviously his language, his own, you know, method of writing, but it's
which
still
takes
like
some getting used to. But
it does. Exactly.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Once you get in the groove of Lovecraft, man, it is, you know, and there's still some stuff that they have not touched yet, which you know, and I kind of like shudder to think at this point, like what the hell they would do to it. I mean, I saw that, if you're familiar with the Color Out of Space.
Yes.
It was the film with Nicolas Cage, and there's a lot of great stuff in that film. It really is. But the mechanism of the color, they just totally screwed it up. It was like, look, it's not a monster that reaches out and attacks people. What the bloody hell? And they just did it because they're like, look, we need monsters. We need a good monster. And we're not going to have this damn color just, you know, causing illness. Right. There's a better German film. It's called Die Farbe, The Color. And it's very much more true to the story.
And there's Die Monster Die. That was a
Die Monster Die. Yeah, it was another Color Out of Space thing. And I understand that they're or at least it was in the works. Who knows what's going on now? But Richard Stanley, who I like. I like Richard Stanley's films, you know, Hardware, his old films, stuff like that. He was supposed to be, and of course he did The Color Out of Space with Cage. And I liked it, except for that weird thing about the way that they ended up doing the creature. But they're supposed to do an adaptation of the Dunwich Horror. Now, the Dunwich Horror is another one. It would be.
I love that one.
Yeah, and it's scary as hell too. It's scary as hell because like of the way that the creature affects people over like a large area. You know, like people know each other from miles away, and like they discover their house is smashed in, and what is this force? And I mean, God, what they did to the Dunwich Horror, that film. I don't know if you saw the film with
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't. You know what? I'll tell you. I like the Les Baxter music. The musical score for that movie is really fun. But I don't like that movie at all. Yeah. But you know what? Another one of my
great. You know, he's a great actor. But
another one of my favorite non-Cthulhu mythos Lovecraft stories is the Case of Charles Dexter Ward. About you know that one.
Yes.
I love that one.
That film.
That one has. Well, I mean, I'm talking about just the story. I mean, has some
story,
great...
and I did like the film with Fred Ward.
Okay, yeah. Also, the Haunted Palace was Charles Dexter.
Haunted Palace
with Vincent Price. But I love that story because that one gets really creepy where he's got this book and the pages are stuck together and he unsticks the pages and he finds out about this horrible part of his family history that he didn't know about.
Yeah.
I love ideas like that in stories where there's like these buried secrets that people stumble upon and then you know goes down a rabbit hole.
He liked doing that a lot. You know, with Shadow over Innsmouth, it's really a huge part of that story, which is what makes it so damn creepy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just being stuck in this town with these fish freaks, you know, and like trying to escape these people is just, and they did it so well in the movie. I mean, they really, that point, the guy is like fighting for his life.
Yeah,
you know, and
the escape from the hotel in the book is so creepy. When somebody's trying to get in his hotel room and he knows they're trying to get in, and he goes out the other door. he has to like be sneaky to get out. And also the other thing that's really kind of subtle in that story too is the kind of suggestion that there was almost like a St. Valentine's Day massacre situation where the government agents went in and executed everybody, and then they kind of published it as like they put it out in the news like well, it was a big gunfight over liquor smuggling. And that's one of those little details in the story that you almost, it's so easy to miss it almost, you know.
Right. There is that thing with Lovecraft occasionally. With some of these stories where there's a government conspiracy, if you will, lurking in the background as a cover story, right? There's something going on, and he just knew it. He had that whole thing figured out long before anybody else did.
Right. Plus he was writing in the 20s. Well, plus he was writing in the 20s and 30s, so he knew all about prohibition.
Oh, totally.
but he used that as an angle in that story, and it's so cool. It's like, because it kind of sets up this suggestion that like after the guy escaped from the town and goes back into civilization, he's in an insane asylum or something, and the cops are like, "What in the world happened to you?" And he tells them, and they go find out about it, and then they're like, "Okay, we just have to massacre everyone here."
Exactly.
Like, there's no other way to deal with it.
There's a lot of fish mutants here.
Right, but that's just like, but that's just kind of mentioned and thrown away as a passing thing in the story. It's not even what the story's about, but it's like
exactly.
I mean, I think I probably read that story 3 or 4 times and missed that, just skipped right past that, or and didn't really. But at some point, I caught that part, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, there's a whole other story there. That's awesome."
Yeah. There are a lot of things like the fact that he's looking out in the ocean to the rock.
Yeah.
The big rock where they're all coming out of and stuff. They're all kind of around the rock. I guess
Devil's Reef.
Yeah, Devil's Reef.
Yeah.
That is not in the film. They they kind of just skipped that really.
Yeah.
And it's creepy. Once again, it's just like Lovecraft puts you there and you can just see it. Like if you're standing on the shore or whatever, you see this thing like writhing bodies on a on a reef, and they're not quite human.
Yeah,
it's just amazing stuff. I don't know how the hell we got on a Lovecraft tangent.
I don't know.
It was something. The color out, but in any case, Dunwich Horror. Yeah, that I guess I was gonna say. Hopefully, they'll do it, and they'll do it right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't know anymore, man. When I hear about another, like nowadays, I'm just skeptical. Call me skeptical.
I know I'm the same way. There's a lot of things where they just don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, here is issue number 9.
Yeah.
I love that cover too. With Zag-Zog menacing.
A lot of people have been commenting on that one. I didn't know if people would like that one. It was such a simple thing to do because there's no heavy detailed backgrounds or whatever. But I remembered loving a lot of those covers when I was a kid. I mean, I feel like they had a cover like that there was an X-Men cover like that, I think, or a Daredevil cover. I remembered from when I was a kid, and where it's like it's all black and there's just like the figure in the middle. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the issue number.
Yeah,
but
you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, they did they tried that several times, and I think it's pretty effective.
Yeah.
So those are the two issues in this campaign. Wulf and Batsy, there's number 8, The Fall of the House of Zag-Zog, part 1, and of course part 2 in issue number 9, and so that's what we're talking about here. I do want to, let's see here. I want to go to Alterna.
Yeah, you can do the pre-order either site. You can pre-order on Indiegogo or alternacomics.com.
Right. And when you pre-order on Alterna, you can get whatever you want.
Yeah,
they have actually get issues. You can get the back issues. Like for instance, they have the 5 comic bundle here, folks. and it's $11.25 for 5 comics. You'll be lucky to get 2 comics nowadays for
Scroll down.
$11.25.
Scroll down a bit. We're not seeing it on the
oh shit, sorry,
screen here. That's okay. I think you're looking at a different screen.
There we go.
August 23. Yeah,
August 2020. Okay,
click that. Yeah, there you go.
I just kind of screwed that up. There we go. Yeah, so here's the 5 comic bundle, $11.25. I mean, shit, man. You know, you will pay. People know. Everybody in our studio audience knows that you are going to pay $5 for a freaking comic book nowadays. That's all there is to it. It's $4.95,
and it gives you
$5.95, $6.95.
It gives you the option where you can mix and match. You can get all of them. You can get just the ones you want. You know.
Yeah, what we want to do, we're going to go.
There's a lot of choices on there.
We're going to go to the comic single issues. This is where we find the Wulf and Batsy. All right. Yeah, go down here. And yeah, I'm not going to, there's a few others, like it came out on a Wednesday. I really liked Legends of Log too.
I did too.
The way that was drawn.
I did too.
And Horace Hoover. Horace Hoover is new as well. Folks, $1.98. Come on. Right. That's there. A good one. Let's go to.
You can't go wrong with Horace Hoover for more old-fashioned horror weirdness.
Yes.
But I'm a big fan of Blood Realm too. That's a great one. Very epic.
Realm. Yep. That's another one. So you see, here's all the issues right here. You got Wulf and Batsy number 7, which is still up for pre-order. There are all $1.98.
Right. Yeah. The issue 7 is the one from the last previous campaign, and that is going to be released really soon. I know that Pete said that he's supposed to get the issues from the printer, I think next week or something, and then he starts.
Cool.
I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but it's pretty soon. He said, "Yeah, that one's coming out very soon, very soon."
Right here, folks, all the way back to issue 1.
Yep.
I highly recommend, if you're going to get some Wulf and Batsy, get the first few issues. Well, get them all, but the first few issues are really quite good. Eye of the Beholder. That's the one where she takes her eye out and it acts like a drone, as Brian said, and it surveils the area. It's really just freaking great. So yeah, it's got all of the issues here. That's 4, 5, 6, and 7, and of course there's 8 and 9 in the brand new
pre-order.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop this in the StreamYard.
Yeah, that's a good link for people to use.
There we go. It is in there. And let's get back to the chat, because I know a lot of people have chimed in since we've started talking. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Eric's talking about Wulf and Batsy and the Mighty Mascots are the 2 comics that stand out for me in Alterna. Waro says, do you draw on a computer, or are you old school and still use pen and paper?
I'm traditional. When it comes, I do the drawing. The drawing is with pen and ink or ink brush, and then the coloring is done on Photoshop, and the lettering I do on Photoshop.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 99% traditional.
Okay. Apex is on the scene. Hello, Apex. He says hi, hello. Brian, as well.
Hi.
Carrie is here. Hello, Carrie.
Hello.
Twisted Tales. Oh, God. Yeah, we were talking about Twisted Tales. Well, Twisted Tales was great. I have the full run. Also, Alien Worlds. That was the science fiction counterpart.
Yes,
that's right.
With the Dave Stevens covers.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah, I've got one. Actually, it's one of the only. I've got like 5 CGC comic books.
Really? Yeah.
That I got, and at the time I couldn't pass it up. It was a hell of a deal, so I bought the. I think it's Alien Worlds number 4. with the Dave
I don't think
Stevens cover.
how many issues of Alien Worlds were there? I feel like there weren't as many of those. Because
no.
Twisted Tales was like it went on for 10 or 12 issues, I believe, if I remember right.
I think Alien Worlds was like 6.
Something like that. I have all the Twisted Tales. I have the 3 Alien Worlds with the Dave Stevens covers that I remember. 2 or 3 of them anyway. I don't know how much longer it went on though.
Oh, yeah,
if you know Werewolf by Lunchtime, let us know. Remind us.
Yeah, this is the one I'm gonna have to.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And
there was another cover that was kind of had a pink color scheme. I remember. Yeah.
Exactly.
I got that one,
and it's fantastic. I just it's one of my. I mean, this with Dave Stevens, it's kind of like every one of them's really kind of a favorite.
Do you remember? I remember in the 80s when I was going to comic book stores, right when comic book stores were new, like 86.
Yeah.
There was this poster that he did. I don't know what comic book it was for actually, but it was a girl and there was this big blue tentacle monster that was all coiled around her. And then there was a superhero type guy coming to rescue her.
That was an original Wally Wood. He redid a Wally.
Oh,
Wood
okay.
Right.
I just remember that poster made an impression at that young age.
Fantastic. Yeah, the tentacles wrapped around her just perfectly.
right.
You know, to make
it. You get a little bit of that in Wulf and Batsy issue 6.
yeah.
Although I wasn't intentionally drawing from that inspiration, but
the cover itself, folks, where Batsy is kind of losing her lingerie, if you will, to a tentacle creature.
She has that problem all the time. I don't know why.
We don't mind, Brian.
Hey,
we do not mind.
Don't look at me. I just make the story. I just tell them what to do. It's her problem if she can't keep her act together.
I'm going to run that trailer again for people that have come in. So here we go.
After decades of wandering the earth, Wulf and Batsy have finally settled into a place they can call home. But they will soon realize this only makes it easy for their pursuers to track them down. And old enemies know exactly where to find them. The Fall of the House of Zagzog. Kevin Wolf Orlock. Batsy the Vampiress. Detective Lawrence Mondello Sr. Lisette. Snyder Zamala. Pamela Zamala. Stu Cupid. The Fall of the House of Zagzog. A new, never previously released 4-part story arc in Wulf and Batsy issues 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Order at alternacomics.com.
Hey, I like that shirt.
Impeccable.
I like that shirt, the Shock Monster.
All right. Let's get back to the Alterna page here. And so, guys, once again, with the you can, as Brian was saying, you can, on Alterna, you can add the new issues and you can also get old issues at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. You can add them to your pre-order.
Right.
When you
Exactly.
pre-order issue 8 and 9, you can add these on. Or
Yeah,
or you can order them separately, and these will be sent to you sooner as a separate package.
now where is the? Is there a merch? No.
Yeah, there is a merch. There's a
Oh
T-shirt.
yeah, there's a T-shirt right there. It's a Wulf and Batsy T-shirt.
So far, we got a T-shirt and a sticker.
Okay.
We're still at the beginning of the merch game with my book, but Alterna has tons of stuff. Oh, they did do. Let's see. The collector case. I think it was the previous. Oh, we have the trading cards also. The Wulf and Batsy trading cards should be on there somewhere too.
Oh, trading card.
I forgot about that. Yeah, right. But also we did. If you see those collector cases, we did a insert with the Wulf and Batsy where you can slide it in, and they've got these collector cases that have these pockets on the front and on the spines, so you can sort of put whatever image you want in there, and we made one that was Wulf and Batsy for an Alterna collector case. But yeah, we got the we got the stickers, we got the T-shirt, and the trading cards.
Okay, there's stickers right there. Okay, now they need to add that. That's one thing they.
Maybe because it's the pre-order, the sticker is part of the pre-order.
Oh, maybe, maybe.
I'll probably add it later, I'm sure.
I gotcha. So let's go to the front here. Right there. So yeah, and as I was saying before, guys, anybody that wants to advertise whatever they're, typically, I guess people are advertising comic books or related services.
Yeah.
But I think it could potentially be anything. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a, like for instance, if you had a book, could you advertise your book in this?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Yeah. So yeah, you can get like full page ads. Jeez Louise, man. In Wulf and Batsy number 8 and 9, $25 for a full page ad, folks.
I mean, when you look,
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the kind of products that Captain Bloodclot is getting away with putting in our books,
yeah,
you could probably print, advertise anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could also take the full back cover.
Yeah,
the actual back cover for $100 freaking bucks. God, that's unheard of.
And they do go quick. They do go quick on Wulf and Batsy. In the past, the ad space has gone quick. So if anybody wants to advertise any of your projects, jump on.
Yeah, this is a great way. Yeah, there are a few comic book artists in the studio audience tonight, and I know that they would love to jump on something like that. Here we go with the. Now these are Short Box House collector's case.
Yeah, he did the. Oh, yeah, this is the collector's case. Now, this time it has the King Cryptid insert.
Right. Gotcha.
Right. I think it was the previous campaign or the one before it had the Wulf and Batsy insert. I'm not sure if they still have those available or not.
Okay,
and then we have... sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, you've got the blank variant commission.
Yeah, the double-sized sketch card, card, and the blank variant commissions. If you order those... you can request whatever subject matter you want, and I will draw an original commission, an original image with my ink brushes right there on that 5x7
on the card,
card, or on the cover of the blank variant cover of Wulf and Batsy.
Wow, there we go. $70. That is really quite good.
Yeah, wow, basically
and then you can describe what you want. Right here.
Usually, you choose which artist you want, which Alterna artist you want, and then it says put in whatever you want. And usually, what it means is just say whichever character you want. Like the last time we did it, there were a few people that said just Wulf by himself. A couple of people said just Batsy by herself, and a couple of people said Wulf and Batsy together. That kind of thing.
Right.
But you can request the villains. Basically, you want to request one, or since it's a small card, you don't want a real complex scene. You want to request basically one of the main characters, and then I'll do an original drawing of it. right there on the
That's
card.
very cool. Here's the sticker, man. Got it down here. Wolf and
You like
Batsy,
that sticker?
4x4 sticker, $3. I
Yeah.
mean, God, if if you guys are doing any pre-ordering on Alterna, get the sticker. That's
Stick them on your school notebook.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Good God. That is great, man.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, it is. That's a just absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thanks so much.
Well, let's take
Really
one
appreciate
last
it.
look at our comments because a few people have chimed in. God, oh yeah, okay. There Easy Comic Reader is on the scene. Hello, Easy Comic Reader. Oh, I'm late cutting down trees. Okay.
Cutting down trees. Is that a euphemism for something?
It could be. Is that kind of like flogging the dolphin?
I don't know.
Comic Reader.
I'm afraid to ask.
Jacob's here. Hello, Jacob. How are you doing? Easy Comic Reader says, I just received and read the first 2 issues of Wulf and Batsy this morning.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Talk about timing.
Yeah, thank you.
Good God,
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying, the more orders we get, the longer I can keep making them. So
yeah,
that's just how it works.
Oh, yeah, this Michael Taylor's here. Hello, Mike, Brian. Hello. God, man. Yeah, well, I don't know which cover you're talking about. They're all great, but we kind of missed that one. Very cool covers. Once again, folks, if you want to check out Brian's personal page, it's bryanbaugh.net right there. And this one goes to Wulf and Batsy directly, but you can go to other places on the page. Mm-hmm. This is the ever important Indiegogo campaign page. You definitely want to check that out. Easy Comic Reader says, yes, very impressed with the whole presentation. No slick pages. Yes. There it is. And that's another thing I don't like. And typically in comic books, it's just a bunch of slick pages. It's so weird. It's kind of like, look, if you're going to do that, that's one thing. Like, for instance, I'm a big Metal Hurlant and heavy metal fan.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Sure.
And of course, their pages are, they're kind of matte or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're, not exactly slick, but they're not newsprint.
Right.
And it's a magazine. So you pretty much expect that.
But they still weren't glossy though. I mean,
they weren't. They were kind of matte.
I mean, I feel like when I'm thinking like when I guess when I was a teenager, more in the 80s, heavy metal was like as fancy as comic book magazines got,
pretty much. That was the whole thing, man. Yeah, Metal Hurlant started,
and they weren't glossy.
It was this kind of paper that has the printing. It was kind of funny because Metal Hurlant was a French magazine.
Right.
It was revolutionary for science fiction art. There's no doubt about it. It was the thing.
Sure.
It launched everything. It launched even movies. It influenced a variety of big films.
Right.
And the funny thing is that it was printed in Italy. So it's one of those things. The French magazine they had, and those when you see at least the first 20 issues. Mm-hmm. The reproduction is stunning. I mean, I got a few of those when I was a teenager, man. Yeah. Like I'm talking like 1980s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that's the era I was seeing it.
It just absolutely blew my mind because he had, of course, Mobius and Drew Lay and all these people, these artists, and they it just blew my mind. I never really thought about, why can't the comic books do this? Because it wasn't the same thing. Right.
Exactly.
This was a magazine. It's an illustrated magazine. It's not a comic.
Exactly. It was just a different thing in your mind as well as physically. It was just a different thing.
And it was just it was they were more expensive too.
Yeah.
They were like, here's your magazine. You're going to pay, $5 or whatever the hell it was, even back at the time.
Yeah, you wouldn't want Creature Commandos to be $5 in 1986.
No. No. Right. There's no doubt about it, man. It was just, they're two things, but there is a parallel track with comic books and Metal Hurlant and heavy metal and a few other of those similar kind of magazines from back in the day.
Epic Illustrated.
Yes, Epic Illustrated. Yes.
That was the other big one that was all about the art.
Right. And they would, they got these big artists to I mean, Bernie Wrightson was in there.
Yeah.
Freak Show was debuted. Steranko. Steranko is like freaking he did a adaptation of what the hell was it? Outland? The movie with Sean Connery.
Right, yeah.
Whoa. Of course he did a ton of, God. But Steranko is like everybody else, all of these guys, even Mobius and Droulet would go back to the comic book form at some point.
Right.
Like Mobius did that really great 2-parter of Silver Surfer. I don't know if you ever saw that, but
I know what you're talking about.
Pretty wicked.
And didn't John Byrne do the Galactus story in Epic, I think? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all kind of went, but what you had with, of course, it was one of those things. They were trying to get Euro artists into like American eyes.
Yeah, that was a wild time. I was in junior high school just in time for the 1986 black and white small press indie, whatever they called it, boom. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like that was such an exciting time to be a comic book fan, because you could go to the comic book store and get your Spider-Man and your Batman and your X-Men, and then on the other shelf you could get Dead World and Gore Shriek and The Crow and all those first comic Twisted Tales and all those things too.
Right.
It was a wild time, and I feel like if only they were smarter about it. I don't even know who they is, but it seems like we're almost having another explosion like that now. But it's just all online. It's all these different groups and creators that are doing kind of like Alterna's doing. It's like you'd think that the stores would capitalize on, get all that kind of stuff in the stores. Like have another indie explosion now.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of things about that. Like for instance, I know that Samedi has had some luck getting his books into actual stores.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he was doing a thing for a while, and the last time I read, he had gotten Alterna comics into like 50-something stores in the United States, which is great. I mean, that's like, it seems small. It's like maybe a store per state or whatever, but still, hey, you're getting them in there. I don't know if he's still pursuing that or not.
No, I don't think he is anymore. You'd have to ask him. He could give you a better answer than I could. But my understanding is he had some some problematic situations between Diamond distribution and the stores or whatever. So it kind of he found that just selling them online directly to the customer ended up being more beneficial to what he was doing. But it's one of those things where you just, I don't know, as someone who was there for the 1986 black and white comics explosion, it's like you can't help but remember that time and think, man, how cool would it be? Especially now when Marvel and DC are kind of dropping the ball and their quality is kind of none of us
sucking.
Yeah, we're just not in. Yeah, they just don't make them like they used to, But meanwhile, you've got all this exciting different indie stuff, and you can't help but wish that maybe the world just worked a little differently, and stores could be showcasing all this kind of stuff now. But I know it's more complicated than that, but
right. So basically it seems like maybe Diamond or the big, actual distributors, right?
Yeah.
Like Diamond, they're like saying, no, you will not have these comic books in the store.
Or they just don't make it easy anyway.
They don't make it easy.
Whatever they're doing wrong. Like I said, you should talk to Peter about that. But he could tell you chapter and verse everything that went on with that. But
well, it seems to me like, for instance, comic book owners, store owners, right?
Yeah,
they could see something like Alterna and go, "Hey, look, man. In the first place, these comic books are not expensive at all. They're really, really inexpensive. Why don't I just get X amount and put a 10 or 20% markup on them?
Yeah,
people would buy them if there was some kind of incentive, like that, where maybe Pete Samedi could do a kind of campaign where he says, "Hey, comic book store owners, hey, come here," and then he's like, if you want to, do it. I don't know if he's done this. I'm not sure. Buy X amount of our, comics and get a 10 or 20%, markdown. Yeah. And then you can just sell them for the retail price.
Yeah, that would be nice. I know that everybody would love that. It's just, I guess the practical realities of trying to make that happen.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just it's more complicated than than I could even tell you. Peter has a way more experience with that than I do, but from what he tells us, he makes it sound like they just make it as hard as they can to just do something that should be so simple.
Yes.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, because the great thing about Alterna too is that it's not just comic books. They've got all the stuff. They got the stickers. They've got the special boxes. They've got the sketch cards, everything. So, that's what people kind of look for in a comic book store as well. They're looking for different things like, accessories, if you will. And that's why I was saying the action figures.
Right.
Because gotta be I guess you just kind of see how things go.
Yeah.
With it. But that's something that
Dare to dream.
Dare to dream. Exactly. And look, if some of these dudes are doing it with some really obscure stuff, I think you would have you would do really well.
I would love it.
All right. Well, hey man, Brian, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My good friend. It was it went a bit longer than I thought. Jeez. I was like, it'd be about 30 minutes. Well, that was
all right.
Let's take a quick look at the last comments here. Eric says, it was great watching this evening. Everyone have a great Friday weekend. Gots to go.
Yeah.
Later, Ian B. Domino's night. Matt Gertson saying Domino's night. Easy Comic Reader says, I also picked up a few of the Wednesday comics. Now I'm going back for the rest of Wulf and Batsy. Love the story. You will not be disappointed, Easy Comic Reader. I'm telling you, they're great. It's great stuff. Wulf and Batsy, it came out on a Wednesday. And in particular, as I said before, the Horace Hoover are kind of my three. There's other good ones in there, but those are my three tops. My three favorites from the Alterna lineup. Easy Comic Reader says, also waiting for the Captain Blood Clot catalog. Ooh.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have to see what happens.
Now Easy Comic Reader just came. That's pretty good, damn good idea. You're getting. I mean, how many pages would you say you have of Captain Blood Clot?
Not enough for a catalog yet, but
right. But you've got to at least have like 6 or 7 or 8, right? Several pages. Anyway.
I've got a few. I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few on backlog for future issues too. So
that could be a great special edition.
that would be funny.
And Michael Taylor says, big loss recently, John Romita. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really, I mean, although, okay, folks, he was 93. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a video on Romita hopefully for next week, only on his pre-code horror.
Interesting.
I don't know if you're aware that how much pre-code horror he did for Atlas.
Okay.
It's quite interesting. I wasn't aware of it myself, but
great. I'm looking forward to that video.
He did some good stuff, and yeah, he, I mean, 93 years old. Jesus,
Yeah.
I would be amazed if I lived to 63. Okay, let me put it that way. The guy lived a nice long life.
Yeah, and died in his sleep, they said.
And died in his sleep. I mean, Jesus, John Romita, for Christ's sake. So in any case, after I heard that, I was like, yeah, he's 93. He was working in the 50s. What did he do?
Yeah.
And then I started looking. I was like, holy crap, he did, a good amount of course, horror, a little bit of science fiction, a whole lot of Western and war.
I'd be surprised if he didn't do some of those romance comics, because he drew such
he did a few
great people,
He absolutely did some of those romance comics. Yep.
Yeah.
But he's got a pretty a decent array of horror comics that he did for Atlas. So I'll be doing that next week. But also too, one more thing before we go, just a quick little doohickey here. This is as a reminder for people. All right, here we go. Folks, we're on my website, horroranthologymovies.com. Obviously I have surpassed the 1,000 subscribers thing. And so here's once again, just to let you know, next Friday is the drawing. Okay, next Friday is the drawing. And in order to enter, because this is an opt-in thing, simply if you're already subscribed, you're set on number 1, or subscribe if you haven't to the Horror Mike YouTube channel. Number 2, share this blog post, the one that I'm currently reading, or the 1,000 subscriber video. These are all linked on the page. Just put that in there. There we go. And then send me an email to admin@horroranthologymovies.com with your YouTube subscriber name and a link where you shared the post or the video on one of your social media pages. Doesn't matter what. Then you're entered. I will send you a number. And that number is going to be literally put into a hat. And next Friday night, I'm drawing 3 numbers because there are 3 prizes. The top prize is brand spanking new, never been read, still in plastic. The Incal by Joe Dworsky and Mobius. That is the 316-page graphic novel, sci-fi graphic novel, which it's totally cool. It is such a freaking great novel. And that is prize number 1. Then Heavy Metal issue number 2, May of 1977, VG Plus condition. Very good shape. Of course, Droulet, Corbin, Mobius, you name it. It's just fantastic. I love the Mobius covers. Absolutely stunning. And then number 3 is July of 1979, which is another fantastic. This was like the early days of heavy metal, and they were just firing on all cylinders. They were so good. Fantastic Richard Corbin cover on this, and those are the 3 prizes, folks.
Nice.
So that's all you got to do right there. It's just 3 things. Your eyes.
I'm gonna enter.
All right. Yes, Brian. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and I don't know. I think people just have a problem maybe with sharing a blog post. I guess. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a thing. I got to tell you, folks, right now, I have not gotten many entrants, so your odds are going to be incredibly good. Okay, I think people just don't. you know, a lot of people just want to remain anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they it's basically kind of it, and they don't want to. You know, it's not like I'm working with the FBI, okay? Yeah, just the CIA. No, I mean, no, I'm not doing any of that. So, in any case, folks, you know, if you get the chance, do that. And next Friday night is the drawing. Let's see. Easy Comic Reader says, "Thank you, Brian. I haven't bought any new comics since 2012. You and Alterna have given me a reason to get excited about new comics again."
Wow, that's a huge compliment. Thank you for saying that. That's really great. Pleasure's all mine.
Pretty much true, too. I mean, look, I can tell you there's a few people I like right now. There's, you know, who's the guy? Graham Nolan,
Mm-hmm.
who did the, you know, he does some monster comics,
Mm-hmm,
and he's doing this thing. Oh, I don't know. The Ghost of Matacumba Key,
mm-hmm.
which is a very EC style comic
Mm-hmm.
book,
Mm-hmm.
which I donated to for on the Indiegogo campaign. So, but that's kind of like, it's few and far between.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. Michael Taylor, all due respect for Ditko, Romita was the best Spider-Man in my opinion. Ooh,
I agree with that.
that's a bold opinion.
It is, but I agree with it. I mean, I love Ditko, but I think I said I made this comment on Twitter when I heard about his passing. I think, you know, when I was a little kid in the 70s, that was right at the tail end of Romita's run on Amazing Spider-Man, and it was his Spider-Man that was on all the licensed products and all the T-shirts and
That's true. You're absolutely
the boxes
right.
for the toys. So for me, when I see a Romita Spider-Man, my brain goes, "That's Spider-Man." You know,
Yeah.
when I read those
right.
issues, that's the real Spider-Man to me. You know.
You're absolutely right. That is something that it was Romita all over the place.
Yeah,
Spider-Man. You know, although I got to tell you, man, Ditko.
I love him.
The funny thing about Ditko is I love him much more for his 1950s pre-code stuff, his science fiction and horror.
Yeah, there's good stuff there.
Yeah, he was green as hell, but
yeah,
conceptually speaking, he was doing some really good stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, like just bizarre and you know, story wise and everything. Just excellent. I just always loved that, of course. And then some of his later stuff, I think it's like Mr. A.
Yeah,
those radical, really
yeah.
like talk about independent comic books. Holy crap, man!
Yeah,
he was pretty much in there.
Yeah,
with that. But all right, guys. Well, thanks everyone in the studio audience
thank you
for being here. For Christ's sake. And thank you, Brian.
Hey man,
really appreciate it. That it was a great show. And once again, everybody, Alterna Comics. Just simply, it's the easiest thing to remember. Alternacomics.com. Just go directly there, and you will be happy.
Look and Wulf and Batsy. I was just going to say, Wulf and Batsy is good old-fashioned monster comics from a guy that just loves old-fashioned monster comics.
There you go.
Simple as that.
Pretty much everybody that comes on to the live shows, Brian, that they're totally into that. They're into the classics, the Universal monsters, and the 60s and the 70s we were talking about earlier.
Yep, that's my influences.
And so guys, check it out. You will absolutely be thrilled to check out some of the Wulf. But I highly recommend, if you're going to go to Alterna Comics, get them all, but you should definitely get the first issues. It's a good, I think the way that you're, sequencing these the stories is the way to go. It's not an absolute necessary thing, but I recommend it. Start with issue 1. Just get them all. Get issue 1 through.
Read them in order.
And read them in order.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the way to go.
All right. Well,
Easy Congress. Thank you, Mike. Take care, everyone.
thanks, you
Michael
guys.
Taylor. Thanks, Mike and Brian. Thank you, Michael Taylor and Brian. Take care.
You too, man.
And I'll see you on the Twitters.
Sure will.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care, man.
Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.